Welcome to A New Breed of Golf Live. I'm Michael Breed. So excited to be able to help you improve your game. We've got a really good show lined up for you today. Before we get to all that, a couple of things that some housekeeping things that we have to do. First, we've got a special going on for those of you that are dying to get outside and haven't been able to do that, want to work on your putting. We talked a lot about that on A New Breed of Golf on SiriusXM this morning. We have an offer for you, a special offer for you. If you want to go over to bigmoss.com, you can get 15% off any mat, any putting green that's over there on bigmoss.com. All you have to do is enter our code, which is Breed15. You enter that code in there, you pick out whatever putting surface that you want, whatever putting green that you want, and you can get that thing shipped over to you. I have done a lot of research on this stuff. This is what I have in my studio, but I've done a lot of research on the pureness of the roll. Big Moss is the very best, and I've been a part of, I reached out to them initially, I don't know, 6-7 years ago when we started trying to find the best putting surface that was around. So if you're interested in doing that, make sure you head over there as well. We've got our logo tournament that's going on. All you have to do is go over to Twitter at Michael Breed. We've got a good contest today going on. We've got the Witch. Yep, the Stanwich Club in Greenwich, Connecticut. My good friend Mike Suma is the head pro over there. That logo is up against Old Chatham. Another Greenwich guy, John Marino, who's the director of golf, the general manager. He's the everything at Old Chatham. That logo matchup is taking place over on Twitter. All you have to do is get in there and vote. We've had some really good fun trying to find the best logo in all of golf at a club or a course, and we rely on you to make those votes. And then finally, what I want to remind you of, and I got to get these here, we've got, speaking of that logo tournament, our poker chips. We've got our poker chips. We only have the blue one and the green one left here. So there's the blue one right there. It's got a New Breed of Golf logo on it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then on the back side, it's got the American flag, which is right there. Gregory, I'll chuck this to you. You can catch that. Then Gibbsy, come back in. I want to see it. I want everybody to see our green one. This is the green one for the cash that you're going to make. This is all these. I don't know if you know this or not, but, and again, the American flag over here. I don't know if you know this or not, but all these poker chips have been blessed with good luck. As the mayor of Positive Town, I had a special meeting. We made sure that all those poker chips were all good luck for you. So when you get them, you're going to have great luck. You're going to make a lot of putts. You're going to shoot lower scores. To get that, send an email to anewbreedofgolf@michaelbreed.com. PayPal, we're taking PayPal at $6 per chip. Now, let me introduce you to the people behind the scenes. Greg Ducharme, you hear him every single day with me, and obviously over on CBS Sports Network on Course Record, but he's my right-hand man, and he joins me here as well on A New Breed of Golf on SiriusXM. And then Steve Gibbs, who's the man running the always one of my favorite parts of doing any of these things.
He's famous now.
Yeah, he is. He's famous. He's the man.
Yeah.
We call him Gibbers, Gibby, and a whole bunch of other nicknames that I won't share with you now, okay? So if you have any questions, Greg will be getting all those questions. Just make sure you share in the chat your thoughts, whatever it is you want to do. We're trying to find out whether this time at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. out on the West Coast, if that's a better time, or is noon a better time. So that's kind of what we're wrestling with. We're trying this today at 11. So please let us know. Hey, love the 11, like the 12 better, whatever it is. We're gonna go off of what is best for you all. Now, today, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about the challenges that you're having bringing your range success to the golf course. And I'm going to do this through a little bit of a different idea, but to get your mind aware of all these different things that are taking place and the adjustments, which was our word of the day, the adjustments that need to take place when you go to the golf course. And so really we're talking a little bit uneven lies and how the uneven lies affect the flight of a golf ball, maybe the spin of the ball, certainly the curve of the ball. We're going to do that. I'm going to do that in a short game fashion so you can get an idea of what this is like. So what I've done is we've set up a 30-yard shot. And I have my 53 degree wedge, and I also have a little mark on the club head so we could get an idea of the speed of the club head and how that will change, and it will change. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit some shots here to this 30-yard flag. And what I'm really thinking about is how much rollout I need to account for when I'm hitting that shot. So as a rule, what I'm doing. I'm going to go up here to the front. As a rule, if I have a 30-yard shot when I'm hitting this little pitch shot, I'm not trying to hit it 30 yards. I'm trying to get it to stop at 30 yards, which is a big part of bringing range success to the golf course. Many times you're just hitting the ball and you're looking at the flight of it and you're not thinking about the rollout of the shot. Not typically when you're hitting balls on the range, but more in the short game area if you get a chance to practice that. But I want you to understand what I'm thinking about, and then this will help you take your range thoughts or your practice thoughts and bring them to the golf course. So what you can see with this particular shot that I hit here was this. I hit that in the air 22.5 yards. It rolled out to 28.7. So that difference there, and Greg's writing all this stuff down because we're going to hit a bunch of shots, and then we're going to flip this mat over, this other mat, and then we're going to show you how uphill and downhill changes that and why it's important for you to not only practice it, but to think about it, because these are things that, frankly, you're not thinking about when you're on the practice tee hitting the golf ball. You go, gosh, I'm hitting my 8-iron so well. Why can't I do that out on the golf course? Well, you're going to find out why here. Now, if we look at this, the descent angle, which is the angle that golf ball has as it's coming down into the ground, once it's apex, as it's coming down, that thing came down at about 34.3 degrees. My launch angle was at 31. My backspin there was at about 5,000. So that ball rolled out with 5,000 RPMs of backspin. My club head speed, which is interesting about this, my club head speed was faster than my ball speed. Just think about that for a second. My club head speed was going 35. My ball speed was going about 34. It's just about a mile an hour difference. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit a couple more, and then I'm going to have a little fun with this mat. So again, I'm trying to get this to go 30 yards. That one, I kind of gins that. I hit that a little bit thin. So that one there is fun. I love this, right? This is the beauty of this. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. But because I have a desire to land it at a certain spot, even though I caught that just a little bit thin, that one flew a little farther, it flew 24 yards. It only rolled out to 31. So I'm 3 feet past the hole. It's not a bad result in that shot. Spin right around 50, maybe 5,100. So pretty much the same. This one, the club head speed went a little bit slower. The ball speed went a little bit faster because I caught it a little bit thin. So it didn't really climb the face at all. It jumped off. The descent angle under 30. The launch angle was a little bit lower because I got that thin. Okay. So a good bad shot. And one of the reasons why I'm getting a good bad shot is I'm searching for a space where I'm going to hit the ball to land it. Right. So I'm trying to create a speed on the club, a distance that the club travels. So when it takes off, it flies a distance that I want. Oh, yes! Come to daddy! See, this is what I love about live stuff. You go and you gins one, and then you knock the next one in. You can't make that stuff up. So that flew 25, about 5,600 RPMs of spin. This also was one that I was a little faster on. Club head speed 38, ball speed 36. So solid contact. Club head speed is faster than the ball speed. I know that's hard to understand or imagine. This flew 25, rolled out to 30. So, Greg, you've written all that stuff down, correct? And then the last thing that I have is I have a descent angle. Again, my launch angle is about 31. My descent angle is at 35.5. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip this mat over, and I'm going to give myself a downhill lie. By the way, if you all are interested in building a mat like this, this is easy. You're going to buy a piece of plywood here. That is, you're going to have a 4x4 plywood. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get a piece of turf, and that turf is probably 6x6. And then what you're going to do is you just screw it into the wood, and now all of a sudden you have a mat. Now what I've got this on is a half foam roller. Okay. Now I want you to see how this little alteration of the lie is going to have an enormous effect on a lot of these numbers. So let me make sure I get this into the green area here. Okay, there I'm in the green. Now, remember my vertical launch on a level lie is at about 31 or 32. Okay. And we're also going to hit an uphill lie, but it's about 31 or 32. Spin rate is right around, let's just say it's around 52 or 5,300 on an average. Okay. And then my rollout is about 15 feet. And my descent angle is right in sort, it's under 40, above 35. Okay. Just as a rule. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this shot. Now, here's what you need to appreciate. This floor is going to tilt the loft of this golf club a little bit, in part because of the ground, and also part because it's throwing my weight a little bit more forward. Okay. So this is what I'm trying to create is a very similar situation. What I'm going to get is something very, very different. So watch this ball roll out. That one there, the backspin on that was 3,200. Why is it 3,200? Because there's less loft when I'm hitting this. Believe it or not, when I'm coming in here, remember I said the ground is going to do something, but my body is going to do something else. So I'm going to get a little less spin. Now I caught that one just a little bit fat, so that's also going to take some spin off of it. And that's why when I land that thing at 23, it still rolls out to 32 because there's not as much spin. The other thing that happens is the descent angle is going to get a little bit lower. So let me show you that. Oh, it didn't pick it up. I didn't get it in the green. Try it again. Okay, in the green. So this comes out. It jumps off. It rolls. Now, come on up here and watch what happens. So remember that one that I made. How could you forget that? That one that I made, I landed at 25. This one landed at 25.8. So basically 2 feet difference. That rolled out to 35 yards. And the reason why is spin rate went down. That one went to 4,200. The descent angle went down. That went to 31.6. My other ones had been like 35, correct? 35 and a half, Greg, maybe 36.
Yeah, between 34 and 35 and a half.
Yeah. And so this one here is at 31.6. And my vertical launch, which my vertical launch now is at 28.3. So that's under 30. A big difference, a very big difference. Now, and the reason why I explain this to you in this fashion is just a slight alteration of the lie, which is when you're out on the golf course, you are dealing with alterations from a level lie every single shot. I mean, literally every shot. On a range, you walk out to the range, and you know what happens to you if you get an uneven lie? You get upset. You get a lie that's an uphill lie like this. You're like, wait, this range is uphill. But you never say that when you're on the golf course. Oh, this lie is downhill. What you say to yourself is, I don't know what to do here, which is one of the things I want to talk to you about these uneven lies. But what I want to do is I want to highlight how different this is. So now I'm on an uphill lie. Make sure that this is in the green, and it's not. Is it in the green there? Yeah. Okay. So now I'm in the green. Now what's going to happen is even though I feel like I'm leaning more forward, I'm not leaning as far forward as I think I am. There's going to be more loft on that face. Also, too, by the way, now, relatively speaking to this ground, I have more loft on that golf ball. This ball is going to fire out higher, even though I might contact it with the same loft at impact, because this property is at I'm just going to say a 3-degree tilt. This is going to go up a little higher. So my launch angle is going to change. My descent angle is going to change. I don't know what's going to happen necessarily with the spin rate. We'll see what happens depending upon impact, but the rollout is going to be less. It can be 3 feet. It might be 6 feet less. So a little bit of a uphill lie. So there's that shot. Now let's come up to the front. So on this one, what I got was a backspin that was at about 4,000. Okay. So not as much spin as the level lie, but a little more spin than the downhill lie. Also, too, what I got a ball that carried in the air 27.6, rolled out to 33. That's in large part because of spin, but it didn't roll out as much as the downhill one. And the reason why is my descent angle. Now my descent angle is 42.4. So it was 32 when I'm in the down. It's 30, like 5, 6, 7 in a level, and now jumps up to 42.5. And look at my launch angle. My launch angle jumps up to 38. So all of a sudden, I get a different launch angle. I get a different descent angle. I get a totally different reaction. And I haven't even gotten into side hill lies, which I'm not going to bore you with. But what I am trying to impress upon you is this, that when you go from the range to the golf course, what you need to do is you need to evaluate and adjust. Evaluate and adjust. So for instance, I might have a normal shot like this, but I don't want to hit it high up into the air. And the reason why is I might not have a lot of, I might have a lot more green that I have to work with. I don't want to land it as far, so I want to get this ball to roll out. So I want to get one club to behave like another club. And so what I might do, even though I'm going to lose some spin, what I might do is take a little 9-iron here. And now I know this is going to come out a little bit lower. The descent angle is going to be a little bit shallower, and the ball is going to roll out a little bit more. So this one leaves. That's perfect. I mean, it rolled a little farther than I wanted. It rolled out to 31, but it carried only 19 yards. And even though I had an uphill lie, what I did was I offset some of that by taking spin out. That went to 2,800. My descent angle was at 30. My launch angle was at 28. So it's behaving similarly in how it leaves the club. But because I don't have as much loft, I don't have as much spin. And because I don't have as much spin, now it rolls out. And so again, these are important things for you to understand. So now let's go over to and Greg, what I'm going to ask you to do while I rearrange this thing a little bit so I don't hurt myself is to pull up our range. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to shift this over here like this. So I'm going to go into an uphill lie. And then we're going to talk about some adjustments that we're going to make on uphill lies so that we can perform the way we want to perform. And you can see how uphill that is there, right? So one of the things that it's a great shot there, Gibbsy. One of the things that happens when you go to the course is you deal with this literally the majority of your shots. You're going to have 18 tee shots. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to make up some numbers here, okay? So 18 tee shots. We're going to have, let's say we shoot 85. So that's the math is too hard. Let's say we shoot 88. So we shoot 88. 18 tee shots. I'm now at 70 shots. Let's say I have 35 putts. So that means I have an additional 35 shots that are on uneven ground, which means twice the number of shots that I have to my drivers or my tee shots, twice the number on uneven lies. And that's shooting 88. And many of you aren't shooting 88. Many of you are shooting greater than 88. Okay. So what are the accommodations that we're making when we're hitting our shots? Well, here's an uphill lie. So not only am I thinking, well, if I'm on an uphill lie, do I need a different club? Which is exactly what you need to be thinking, because what we want to do is we want to figure out, okay, I've got a 180-yard shot, but my 180-yard club is really going to behave like a 170-yard club, or maybe even less, depending upon the severity of the slope. So now I got to go get more club. All right. But what are the adjustments that we make when we're in this uneven lie? This particular situation is an uphill lie. So here are a couple things that you need to appreciate. One, when I get to an uphill lie, I have to get, because it's an uneven platform for us, so I have to create a wider base. So any uneven lie, I want to create a little wider base. That's in full swing now, not necessarily short game. Short game, we can offset some stuff because we're not making as full a swing. But I have a wider base right here. Now, from here, what are some of the adjustments that we need to make? Well, you need to understand that there are certain lies that will influence the ball more than other lies. In other words, not every lie that we have is just one dimension. It's uphill or downhill. It's side hill, ball below our feet, or side hill, ball above our feet. there are many times where they're kind of mixing and matching. So you could have a shot where the ball, you've got the ball above your feet, but you're downhill, right? So what's more influential to the ball? What is going to add the curve to the ball? Because there's going to be curve on these shots. So when I have a ball that's above my feet, or I have a ball that's an uphill lie, I'm going to tend to draw it or hit a straighter shot. If you're a slicer or fader of the ball, you'll hit a straighter shot. So in this particular lie here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit this, and then I'll talk to you about the adjustments that I'm going to make. So I hit that shot there, and all of a sudden, what I get is I get a ball that starts out a little bit to the right, and it stays a little bit to the right. Now, why did it start out to the right? Well, because what everybody is told to do is, well, let's see, if I have an uphill lie, and you never really know this. If I have an uphill lie, I need to move the ball forward or back. Do I move the ball? Do I even move the ball? What should I do? And the answer is you don't have a recipe for this. And so you get a haphazard shot. Now, on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ball and I'm going to move it back in my stance. And now all of a sudden what I get is I get a ball that actually turns out and draws. And that's the shot that you should get. And you should get a shot when you hit this, that when you move that ball back into your stance, you're going to hit more solidly. So you're going to get more expected distance. But at the same time, this 6-iron of mine, I typically hit this thing about 180. As I said, that thing flew to 169. So call it 170. Okay. So what I want you to do, and this is as a rule, on an uneven lie, move the ball down the hill. Move the ball down the hill. So if I'm going uphill, I'm going to move the ball down the hill, because what happens to me is this. My shoulders get parallel to the slope. You've all been told that. But when your shoulders get parallel to the slope, the upper part of your spine moves backwards. And when the upper part of your spine moves backwards, you actually move your ball position forward, just by tilting your. So if you take a normal ball position and then you tilt your shoulders in this fashion here, what ends up happening is that you move the ball forward. So I want you to move the ball backward so that when you tilt your shoulders, now the ball's in the position where it normally is when you're on a level lie. And now we go ahead and hit it. And again, it starts out to the right, and again, it turns back to the left. Okay? Now, there are some other adjustments that you have to make as well. And I told you about the club. What I like to do is I like to brace the low foot. So the hill that's down, the foot that's down the hill, I like to be a brace. So what I want to do is I want to take this trail foot and I want to feel like I'm pushing. Yeah, you can see the angle of that leg is pushing up the hill. Exactly. Because what you don't want to do when you make a backswing, what you don't want to do is let your weight glide down the hill. So if it glides down the hill, now you're moving the ball position forward. So what I want you to do is I want you to get wide. I want you to let that trail leg lean up the hill. The shoulders are parallel. We're aiming out to the right. Now there's no movement. And now what I get is I get a really solid strike. This one turns over to the left-hand side as well. Very good distance. I got my 170, which is the predictable distance that I'm trying to get when I go to that particular club. Okay. So when we start to get into where the ball is below our feet, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shift over this way. So now when the ball is below the feet, and gives you, we can use a 1 here. So when the ball is below my feet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to widen my stance again. As I told you, I'm not going to have to adjust anything with necessarily with ball position or with shoulders. But what I am going to do in this camera 2 shot is I'm going to, well, let me get a ball here so I can show you this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stand a little closer to the ball. And the reason why I'm going to stand a little closer to the ball, if you go back to that 2 shot, Gibbsy, what you can see is that ball is lower than my feet. And as a result, the distance between my chest and the golf ball has increased. And so if I stand closer to the ball, I decrease it. And when I decrease it, now I can just make my normal swing. Now, a lot of people say, well, this ball will fade to the low side of the hill. It's actually club dependent. If I have less loft, yes, it will fade to the low side of the hill. If I have more loft, it actually will go pretty straight or might even draw because the heel of the golf club, the club's more upright with a pitching wedge than it is with a 6-iron. So the heel may grab in a little bit more, and that will make it either straighten out or possibly even pull and draw. So the aim when the ball is below the feet is vital to understand that it's different for different clubs, okay? All right, let's do this. Let's quickly go over to Greg Ducharme here. And as we go to Greg, what we're going to do is we're going to see, let's get a little update here. So Gibbers, jump it up. There you go.
Action on the golf course has been suspended due to inclement weather. This is going to be a buzzword, a common theme, unfortunately, for today, and it looks like tomorrow too. But as it stands now, the lead is the same as it was last night. We have Tommy Fleetwood, Tom Hoge at 6 under. They're done with round 1. Bryce Garnett is through 13 holes in his first round. He's also at 6 under par. You got Kramer Hickok, Joaquin Niemann, Keith Mitchell, Anirban Lahiri, and Daniel Berger all at 5 under par. And the group at 4 under is extensive. There's 9 players.
How about, like, I know Dustin Johnson was at 4 under a while ago. Is he still at 4 under?
Dustin Johnson is at 4 under through 16 holes.
Okay.
And then we have Rory McIlroy is 1 over through 15. Colin Morikawa is even through 15. He was a really popular pick this week as well.
He was my pick, and
yeah.
I think that's probably why he was a popular pick, because a lot of people were listening.
Yeah, I think,
hanging on my words.
Well, Michael, you're a trendsetter.
It happens. You know why? It's because of the shoes.
You influence the market.
It's all the shoes. It's all the shoes.
Yeah. So quite interesting.
Okay. So we're play is suspended. So that makes it even better. Now we could talk a little bit more about how we get your play to improve. So I'm sure we've got some questions, and make sure you get into the chat and get us those questions. Greg, let's open up the phone line.
All right. First from Andrew, the weather seems to be turning in the Northeast. Optimistic. I haven't practiced as much as I would like over the winter. What's the first thing we should be working on as we come out of hibernation?
Okay. So this will seem redundant to all of you because you've been with me before. You know the way I look at improvement in the game. It starts with how we put our hands on this golf club, and it starts with how we set up to the golf ball. So what I would say is, and Andrew is a guy that we've known a long time. He is also a guy who listens to the radio show regularly, and so we appreciate you coming over here, Andrew, and sharing some of your day with us. What I would tell you is this: work on your pre-swing stuff. Work on how you set up to the club, how you hold this club, where your stance is, where's your weight distribution. You're out on your toes, you're in your heels, and work on the fundamentals. What I call fundamentals. Fundamentals to me are pre-swing fundamentals, and everybody's fundamentals can be different. Fundamentals are not necessarily the same for everybody, but they are essential. Fundamentals are essential for you to hit a golf ball. And so to me, the fundamental of holding the club, that's a fundamental. Everybody holds it fundamentally different, and that's fine. Set up to the ball, the width of the stance, the ball position, what shot shape you're going to hit, that'll be dependent. But balance, when I'm sitting here and I'm working on balance, and this is one of the things that I love to do with this half foam roller. Bring this thing in here. And if you don't have a half foam roller, I recommend it for literally for everybody. But what you're going to do is you're going to stand on this. Good. That's a good shot. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to work on balance. You can leave that shot there, Gibbsy. We can get out of there and just come back to 2. And there you go. So am I able to stand on this? I haven't done this in a while because my knee has been hurting. So I've been probably on the IR for nearly a month. But what you can see is that I'm able to keep my balance here. And then eventually, through time, you're going to be able to make a backswing while not falling off of this. And that's how, like, your glutes and your quads and all that stuff, they start to really engage. That's stuff that you can do, all year round, and something you should do all year round. Constantly monitor your grip, constantly monitor your ball position, constantly monitor your weight distribution. Okay? All right, let's go to the next one.
Along similar lines, this is from Lon. Is hand positioning the same when hitting a draw versus hitting a fade?
Hand position. So I have to take some liberties with this because I'm not really sure what hand position means. So, and if it's how your hands are on the club, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Hand position at impact? Possibly. Hand position at address. So in other words, if my hands start if my hands start here versus starting here, can that influence it? It can, because it can influence how you put your hands on the club. But let's do this. Let's just go to how we hold the club. And this is, I think, one of the most important parts of success in a shot is this. If I want to hit a draw, I want to take my hands, both of them, and I want to rotate them back to my trail side here. So this lead hand, I'm going to spin over to my trail side. And then this trail hand, instead of it being here on top, I'm going to go that way. Okay. Now, Gibbsy, give me a camera 1 here, and I'll just show you the influence of the grip. So if I grip in what is traditionally called weak, or what I like to say is my hand's more rotated to the left, when I go like that, you can see this lead forearm under the trail forearm. When I rotate them properly like this, now what you're going to see is you're going to see the lead forearm above the trail forearm. Yeah, climb that up a little bit. That's great. So if I go weak, you're there. If I go strong, you're there. Now, here's again what I want to emphasize. Strong and weak, those terms, they're bad terms. The way I like to think about it is roll them to the left or to the lead, roll them to the trail or to the right. Right? If you're a left-handed golfer, then you're going to rotate them to the right, to the lead, and to the trail to the left. Okay, so trail and lead. So if I want to hit draw, I'm going to rotate to the trail. That's going to change my forearms. It's going to change my shoulders. It's going to change my path. And now what I'm going to get is I'm going to get a shot that's going to be a nice solid draw. Come on. Yeah, why wouldn't we do that? So what you're going to do is, and by the way, pull that up again, Gibbsy, so they can see the curve of that. And you see how far that started out to the right. That started out to the right 4 degrees. It had about 1,000 RPMs of left spin and spun right into the target, the one I was aiming for. So the answer is, when you start talking about hands, how your hands get on the club, that's really the thing that I like to focus on. And that will 90% of the time get you out of losing the ball to the push side and help you get the ball to kind of curve back to the pull side. Okay.
From Peter, I'm having trouble dipping my right or back shoulder on chips and duffing them. Little problem in practice, big problem in play. Cost me 4 to 5 shots per round.
Okay, terrific. So here's what we're going to do. Gibbsy, get a little close up on this. So here's my half foam roller. Now, if I put that half foam roller back there and I'm going to hit a little chip shot, what you can see is that I have to elevate the club to get it above that roller, and then I have to come down and miss it. So what I like to do is just have a little something there that invites me to go forward, to not fall back. Because a lot of times the reason why you fall back or hit behind it is you're trying to get the ball up into the air. But what we remember is when we're hitting a chip, we're trying to hit a low shot. So it doesn't have to be a foam roller. It's just, this is what I had here. You can use another golf ball. You can use some tees. You can put some tees into the ground like this. So you set up a little wall right here. And then all you're going to do is just creep in here, just feel you're going to miss that. And then you're going to chop right down on it in that fashion there. So that's how you're going to solve that little problem there. Okay. All right, Greg, let's go to another one here.
From Ted. Winter golf means some tight lies, thin grass or mud. So chipping is sometimes a struggle. What's the best way to chip to an elevated green off of one of those lies? Maybe 10 feet or higher.
Okay. So, we have a tough lie. We've got soft conditions. We want to try to get the ball to get up into the air. So, Gibbsy, this is going to require a 7 in a little bit of a close-up fashion here. Okay? And there you go. Great shot. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the golf club and we're going to open it up like this. So you can see how that looks like that's going out to the right. The other thing you're going to do is you're going to stand it up so you only have one point of contact. We're not going to get the heel in the ground. We're just going to get the toe in the ground. So I've got the club open and the shaft is upright. So I don't want the shaft low here. I want the shaft upright. So it's open and upright. And then what's going to happen when you get it open and upright is you're basically expanding the width of the sole, and you're removing the other contact points, so you don't have to worry about hitting it fat. We got a wide sole, and it's going to be gliding along the ground. I know you're going, but it's wet. It actually will work a lot better than you think. So we open up the club, we stand a little close, and then all we do is we just put in our normal shot, and it just glides right along. And what I like to do when I hit that shot, and maybe you actually saw that, I don't know whether you did or not, but what I like to do is I like to really push that trail arm on that shot. So when I get in here like this, I'm pushing that trail arm. It's an aggressive thing. And the reason why is many of you, when you get uncomfortable, you stop at the ball. You become ball bound. And what will take that away is the idea that you're going to push that trail arm towards the target. So when you get in here and you really want to make sure you get through the ball, you're going to push that arm out towards that target. And what happens is that it just glides along the ground. You almost feel the club almost feel like it opens when you do that, because when you start to push it, it'll twist just a little bit, just a fraction. And then when you come down, what happens is because the toe is in the ground and the heel isn't, so the toe stops, but the heel doesn't, it'll go like that, which is wild. So opening the club is your friend when you get into very moist or soft conditions. So take that club, open it up, set it on the toe, get the heel in the air, push that trail arm. That'll help spin the club face open, and you'll fire it up into the air. Okay?
Next from Kevin. Love this format. Do you have any drills to help the tendency of hitting iron shots thin?
Yeah. Okay. So thin iron shots. So I have a couple drills that I want to give you. Okay. So here's the first drill. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, what? What I want you to do, and I don't want you to necessarily hit this, but what I do want you to do is when you're on the golf course, I want you to practice this. And what you're going to do is you're going to stand on this, and then when you swing down, I want you to get the turf. But I want you to get the turf up by your lead foot, not your trail foot. So what we've done is we've lifted up the ground on the trail side, okay? And what happens is, in order for us to be able to ground out by the lead toe, what we have to do is we probably have to feel like there's a little movement into the lead side. We definitely have to feel like our chest is kind of down and covering the ball, right? Because if I'm up here, I'm going to miss that ground. But if my chest is down here, I can hit the ground. And if my chest, when I hit the ground, is facing back here, I'm going to hit back there. And if my chest is facing forward, I'm going to hit up there. So what you do is you teach yourself to feel like you're going to move a little forward, keep your chest down to the ground, but open it up. And what that will do is that will allow you to hit the ball first. Then what you're going to do, believe it or not, is you're going to try to hit a ball. So let me get this into the green. Okay, I'm in the green. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to hit the ball. Now, what should happen when this comes out is this should be a very solid strike, but it will be low. And it's low because this property is now tilted forward, and it's low because I'm really going forward, and it's low because my chest is really down. So there's a lot of energy in a downward fashion. So in here like this. And what I get is I get a very, very low ball flight. Go, go. Oh, look at that. Wow. Whoa. How about that? That one there carried 162.6 yards and ended up at 150. But what happens is that you get such a clean and fast ball strike that all of a sudden that thing takes off like a bullet. And then what you do is you put this into a real swing, and you feel your chest moving forward. You feel it facing down. You feel it opening, and you feel the impact of the ground. So we get in here like this. Same thing. And now what I get is I get a ball that doesn't have the low trajectory to it, but it does have the fast ball speed. So again, that shot there, very straight shot. It just a little bit to the right for me on that one. But that's how you're going to be able to get away from hitting it thin. Your chest has to be down. It has to be forward. Your weight distribution has to be forward. And one of the easiest things that you can do, and particularly when you're out on the golf course, just when you see a side hill lie, just stop, grab a 6-iron out, tell the guy who's driving the cart, hey, I'll catch up with you in a second, and just make a couple of swings. The other area that you and you'll find that in the rough, you'll find it off of tee box, you'll find it anywhere on your golf course. There's no place that doesn't have a slight hill or change of terrain that will allow you to get that feeling of swinging down the slope, chest forward and down to the ground. Will get a strike that's in the ground, a club that's in the ground and ahead of the golf ball or at the golf ball.
Back to the uneven lies board.
Okay.
I draw and hook my 5-wood off of tilted fade lies, side hill fade lies. I'm set up for a fade. What am I doing wrong? What can I do?
Okay. I don't need the lie board.
All right.
For this. But so here's the deal. What happens to us when we get uneven lies is we tend not to move. And so if I, in a down the line view here, Gibbsy, if I stand here like this and I don't rotate my body through a shot, I just go like that, what happens is I'm going to create a pull. And the reason why I'm going to create a pull or even a hook is because of the following thing. And this is where we need a face on. So when I come through, if my body doesn't rotate through the shot, what I do is I flip the club face. And when I flip that club face, I stuff my lead elbow into my rib cage and it turns the club face and the thing pulls and it hooks just like the last shot that I hit. The reason why you're doing that is because you're not letting your body rotate through. And so what has to happen in all good golf swings is the body rotates to face the target. And so what you need to do is you don't have to worry about swinging on a side hill or anything like that. What you need to do is you need to feel like you're going to rotate your chest out of the way. And one of the ways you're going to feel that is the lead shoulder. So let me show you what I mean. When we make a backswing, my lead shoulder is right under my chin. And in a face on, my lead shoulder is right, like touching it. And what I want to feel is when I start to come down into the shot, I want that shoulder to separate from my chin. If it doesn't separate and I just throw it like this, that's when we get into trouble. So what I want to do is I want to get here like this. I want to rotate open so I feel that shoulder get off the chin and it's working behind me. So we go like this. And now what I get is I get a shot that's going to go relatively straight. I didn't try to hit that far, but it's relatively straight. And when I get relatively straight, now I have some good success. I got to ask another question. I got to clean my club. I'm hitting it too solidly.
Just clean the middle. This is from Christopher. He says, thanks for doing these live videos, Michael. I need some help. I've been told I have a flat backswing, which results in either coming inside or hitting a weak fade with irons. How do I fix a flat swing?
Okay. Flat swing. Here we go. Let me get over here. Get my my breed bar. Now, this I made, and you can use this. I'll give you some other things that will help you with this. But what I like to do is the following. To fix flat is I like to take that arm there, and I put it down the line, Gibbsy, if you would. So, yeah, let me put this out here. So right, that's good right there. No, go back to that other one. You don't need that face on. Just go down. That's perfect. So we go down the line. Now, if I take flat, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to hit this swim noodle. When I go upright, now I'm going to miss it. So what you can see is that swim noodle is basically just on my forearm there. And it's not that you need to worry about that for right now. It's just that you have to have an idea that when the shaft of the golf club is parallel to the ground, that if you're flat, you have it inside the toe line. If you're in good shape, it's at the toe line. And if you want to go upright like this, it would be in front of the toe line. So wherever this thing stops, doesn't matter. It just has to stop on your toe line. So what I've done is I've twisted this thing so it's on my toe line. And now when I take the club back, I go above it. And now all of a sudden you see how high my lead arm is. If I don't have that way and I go flat, now all of a sudden I'm in here and you can see how low this lead arm is. That's flat. This is not. So you can do it with that. I'll tell you another thing that you can do is you can use a shoebox. So we take this thing, put this over here. And now what I do is I take a shoebox, I put it right here. Now I'll show you how this one works. So down the line. So what I do is I take the club that I have and I see where this touches the shoebox. So it's right about here. So that means that the heel of that club is about 6 inches in front of the shoebox. So I'm going to move this to where it's about 4 inches in front of the shoebox. And now if I take the club back flat, I'm going to hit that box. Take it out here. I'm going to miss that box. So it just goes above the box. Whoops. Sorry. Let's go back to that thing again, Gibbsy. There you go. So we go above the box. And now we're up here. Above the box. And now we're up here. So you can use a box. You can use all kinds of different things. I'll show you one other thing that I have that I like to use a lot. And it's just, again, a little PVC pipe. And this twists like this. So what I'll do is I'll take this. I put this like this. It's at an angle that so you can see now in the down the line view again. Great. So now I get in here like this. If I take the club outside here, now I'm right where I want to be. So I go like this. Above that. Now I get a good strike. I took it outside a little bit for me, so I get a little pull cut. So there's a lot of little different things that you can do. I've fortunately had a lot of time to think about all these little different things that I've made, these contraptions that I've made. This is one of them, but a shoebox is fantastic. Okay, go ahead.
Mark thinks, by the way, this is a great idea. I should stencil your logo on the plywood there. If you saw my handwriting, Mark, you might think of another solution. Anthony says, when I'm trying to go a little harder with a mid iron, I tend to cast a little bit, come over the top, smothering the ball. How can I start the downswing better on these shots?
Okay, so Anthony, here's what I will tell you. Last week in this format on A New Breed of Golf Live, we did something on the importance of the trail elbow, and on all of our other platforms, we really are doing some cool stuff in the coming weeks on the importance of the trail elbow and how this trail elbow can cause us to cast or cause us to strike properly, or allow us to strike properly is probably a better way to say it. Anyway, what happens is this: when I take the club back, my elbow gets into a bent position. Every single player that you see play the game of golf, when they take the club up to the top, their trail elbow will be bent. That's just what it is. So the trail elbow gets bent. And now what happens is that trail elbow, if it extends, I cast. If it doesn't extend, I don't cast. And so what I like to do when I'm trying to get a little bit more power out of a shot is I like to, much like I said before on that one little shot where you're in sort of softish grass, hitting that short shot, and you put it on the toe and thrust that elbow. It's one of my favorite swing thoughts for all of the shots that I hit in the game. I like to feel like my right elbow is straightening out on the target side or towards the target. So if I'm trying to get a little bit more power, and again, you'll forgive me because my left knee has not quite fully recovered yet. We're still getting better, but I'm going to try to give this a little bit more power here. And then what I like to do is I like to take this lead foot and I like to open it up. So these are my two power moves, right? Open up that lead foot and then feel that elbow straighten out over there. Now do that. I hit it thin. This is the beauty of live. And probably because I'm a little bit intimidated with, I don't want to hurt my knee, but I'm gonna commit to this. I gotta commit, trust. All right, here we go. So open up that lead foot and let's really push that forward. And I hit it thin again. Okay, I don't know if you all know this about me or not, but I'm a baseball player. And baseball players get 3 strikes. So this will be the last time I try this, okay? So if it doesn't work, I apologize. What I can tell you is that this will work for you, okay? I promise you, this will work for you. Oh, Billy. All right, here we go. Flare that toe and then straighten that arm late. There it is. Okay, now come on up to the top. See, and by the way, that not only did that go far, but that actually had a little draw to it and it stayed in our little stripe there. But
That's a home run.
that is a home run. I touched them all. But now look at the ball speed there. It's 123. My normal ball speed with a 6-iron is right around, say, 115. That'll get me a 175 shot. If I stretch it to 120, which obviously I can do as evidenced by that, I'll get about 185. And that one went a little north of that. So that ball there went about 187 yards and rolled out to 189. So opening up that foot's going to invite a little rotation. Straightening that arm late is going to throw some more power into that club head speed. You'll gain distance and you won't cast the club. All right, let's go to our next one.
This is from Bob. My problem is my full swing, which is all arms. My lower body stays stationary. I can't seem to figure out how to integrate my lower body and upper body. Do you have any thoughts on how to approach this?
So read that to me again, because I want to understand for sure what he said there. So say it again.
My problem is my full swing, which is all arms. My lower body stays stationary, and I can't seem to figure out how to integrate my lower body and my upper body. Do you have any thoughts on how to approach this?
So, and who's this from?
Bob.
So Bob, what it sounds like to me is that you actually are using your upper body, but you're not using your lower body. So this is just so funny that this happens, because we just did something like this a couple of days ago. So Gibbsy, if you can pull the hub full. Okay, so here I am setting up to hit a shot. What you can see is, you see that pack right there? That's the power pack for my mic. Now, this is where your tailbone is roughly. If you take this tailbone, that's where my hand is, where this power pack is, and you only think about rotating that, you see how much my hand moved and how much that power pack moved? So what I do is I take my tailbone and I twist my tailbone so that it's pointing to the target. So point that tailbone to the target. And now let's go face on now. So now when I go face on, look at how much rotation I have out of my hips. And what you can see is, and I'll do this with my arms crossed, watch my pocket right here. When I twist that tailbone, all of a sudden that pocket, it disappears. And it disappears because I've turned so fully with my hips that it's disappeared. And so what I would suggest that you do is, when you want to think about turning the lower body, don't think about the lower body. Think about your tailbone and getting your tailbone to face over there. And when it faces forward, now all of a sudden you're going to get a great pivot out of your hips, and you're going to get a really good full turn, and you'll solve that little problem that you have. Okay. Good luck with that, Bob. I'm telling you, I know that's going to work. And that's one of the reasons why we released a longer video out there in all of our platforms on that one spot, because you, Bob, and others struggle with getting that body turned properly in the backswing. And so rather than thinking about your left hip or your right hip or your left shoulder, your right shoulder, your chest, your belt, but tailbone, turn the tailbone, and you will have great success with that turn. Okay, go ahead, Gregory.
This one's from Daniel. Where can you get turf like this? I'm not sure exactly what he's asking about. My guess is the plywood platform.
Yeah. So I get my turf from a guy who is a really, really cool guy His name is Mike Gismondi, and in fact, his company last year laid, I think, 3 million plus square yards of turf all over the country. In my opinion, he's the best at all of this. And his company is Elite Synthetic Surfaces. Elite Synthetic Surfaces. Elite Synthetic Surfaces. Go over to him and tell him that your new best friend Michael Breed sent you, and I'm sure, I don't think it'll be quite like the Big Moss discount that you get 15% off that putting surface, but I'm sure he's going to take good care of you. Okay.
Maybe it should be turf around the world with that kind of mileage. But anyway, this from Justin. I'm having trouble with my driving accuracy. Specifically, I feel that I'm an early extender, causing me to hit low duck hooks off the tee. I'm a left-handed golfer. Thank you.
Okay. So early extension. How do you solve early extension? It's Greg, it's incredible how we're talking about the tailbone thing, right? So let's go back over to that hub shot again. And what we have is this pack here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Breed board, straighten this up, put this over here. Now, can you go back to that? Yeah, there you go. So what you can see is that I have my tailbone, and it's right on this board here. Now, let's pull it to first. So what I told Bob was, I want you to think about the tailbone. What I'm telling you is I want you to think about the tailbone. And what I want you to do when you get to the top of your swing, back to that hub shot, Gibbsy, if you could, is that tailbone is now going to be off this pipe. What I want to do is I want to put that tailbone back on the pipe. So if I put that tailbone back on the pipe like that, now go ahead and give me a one shot, Gibbsy, if you could. Now watch what happens when I do that. When I do that and I go like that, you see the head drop? Watch my head. So my head is sitting up here like in those trees. I go like this, and now I push that tailbone back, and now it drops down. And when it drops down, now you have all this space to get into. And by the way, you start to rotate the body. So the reason why you're hitting those pulls is because your body isn't rotating. The lower body isn't rotating, but it can't rotate because it's not pushing back. So push back with that tailbone. That'll drop the head down. You now can rotate out of the way, and you have all this space in here to strike the ball solidly in. All right. I'm telling you, the lower body, the tailbone in specific, is one of the most important parts of the golf swing that will allow you to make a great turn in the backswing and a great turn in the down and through swing, which will also allow you a lot of space to be able to get that club, that handle through without running into your thighs or your stomach or whatever. You'll be able to push that out of the way, and you'll be able to create the proper strike that you're looking for. And if you're interested, and Gibbsy, if we go down the line here, if you're interested in something like this is really something that's easy to build. It really is. All you do is you go down to Lowe's or Home Depot. You measure. What you do is you measure how from the ground up to where the cheeks of your fanny are. You're going to make sure that it's right on there. So let me show that. So you see where the pocket of my pants are. It's just below that. You measure that. And if you get to the pocket, that's fine. I've got two because I use this as a teaching thing. So I'm trying to help people of all different sizes. But what you're going to do then is you're going to bend down here. You're going to feel that. You're going to rotate this way, and you'll feel that pushing back. So you'll feel this push back. The other thing that you can do, and you don't have to do this, you just can't swing with it. I can swing with that, is to go up to a wall at your house. And all you do is you cross your arms across your chest. You keep your rear on the wall here, push that tailbone back. So now both of my cheeks are on that wall, and then keep that left one on, and you'll stay in your spine angle. You won't early extend. Okay.
I think you're going to love this one. It's from Kim.
I love all these. I mean, I don't want to interrupt you there, Gregory, but I do want to tell you, you see Greg smile, Gibbsy is smiling. I'm having a great time. I hope you're having a great time. We love this stuff. Please tell your friends about this. We're going to be doing this literally all year and hopefully grow this into a regular thing like all year round. We'll do this 52 weeks, no days off. We will never take a day off until we get everybody in the world watching us here on A New Breed of Golf. No, it's so fun for us. And we couldn't do this. We wouldn't do this if it wasn't for you. We want to help you play your best golf. You can see the enjoyment that we have with it. So thank you so much for being a part of it, and also too for sending those questions in. Go ahead.
You're going to find a little compliment in this one. So it's from Kim. Why does it look like you're swinging to the left / slicing it on the downswing?
Oh, Kim. Well, first, I like to cut the ball. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, and this is the hard part. So Gibbsy, give me a 3 if you would. We haven't shown this shot. Okay, now back it out and bring it down all the way. Yeah. Now, what you all see is me doing this. This is what your eye sees, because this in the downswing you don't pick up. Now let's go to a 1 or yeah, perfect. So when I go and I swing, what you see is you miss all this back here and you catch this, because it looks like, wow, his golf club is going all the way over to the left-hand side. So when he's swinging through, he's going all the way over to the left-hand side. That's got to fade. Actually, what makes a ball do what a ball does is everything that's going on as the club is arriving into the ball. So when I'm swinging this club, I'm always feeling massive rotation in the arms and the hands and the handle and the club head going to the left. But if I want to hit a draw, go ahead, back that one shot. All I do is alter my grip, alter my ball position, alter my pre-swing, but I'm going to make the same swing. And the ball's going to start out to the right, and it's going to turn over to the left-hand side. But it still looks like I'm swinging left and cutting. And the reason why is because you should. See, what I want to do and what I want you to do is I want your body to be really active. I want to create a rotation in here so that this is driving and these arms and hands and club are following. And what you don't see is what the club is doing as it's coming into the ball. What you see is you see a divot that happens after the ball for most of us. And what I'm telling you is that that's not what occurs. So please believe me when I tell you this. I love body rotation because I don't then get lots of face rotation. And face rotation is the biggest culprit for mishits, for missed shots, for poor start lines, for bad spin rates, for bad apexes or inconsistent apexes. It's all because of face rotation. The more face rotation that you have in your golf swing, the less successful you're going to be. The more body rotation you have, the more successful you're going to be. So body rotates, hands and club face don't, great golf. Body doesn't rotate, hands and club face do, not so great golf. Okay?
This is from Sam. How do I grip the club with the trail hand? More on the fingers or the palm? Currently, I grip mainly with the fingers of both hands in order to turn the club face through impact.
Okay. And so, Sam, this goes back to that other thing. I don't want you feeling like you're turning the club face through impact. I want you feeling like the club face is going to create whatever shot shape you desire without having to rotate your hands and forearms at impact or coming into impact. So here's what I like to do. So give me a down the line here, a 1. So what I like to do is I like to set up. And if you take 7 and you close it in, just say shoulders to knees. Okay. What I like to do is I like to start with my trail hand on my thigh here. That's perfect. And now what I like to do is I like to take the club and reach under the grip. So I want to come in under the grip. I don't want to come in over the grip. If I come in over the grip, now I have to really be active with my hands. If I come in under the grip, so I'm reaching in under, now all of a sudden when I reach under, my palm is actually pointing slightly up into the air instead of pointing to the ground. So fingers, my trail palm is to the ground. When I get this where I have it the way I want, my palm is up to the sky. And that means that you're going to have this a little bit more in the palm of the trail hand than you do. But what that does is it helps quiet the club face. Okay. And if I want to do the same thing, but I want to hit a fade, well, I just set club face open at address. Now I come in the same way. So I'm under. And now I hit my shot and the ball fades. But I preset the club face the way I want. I still come into the handle the exact same way. So now I'm going to hit a draw. Now I take the club face, I toe it closed just a little bit. I come in underneath like that. And again, you can see the top part of the forearm when I do that. And now when I come in here with my palm where I want it, now I hit that shot. It starts out to the right. It turns over to the left-hand side. Is it going to get in there? Oh, it hits the pipe. Hate when that happens. All right. Go ahead with the next one.
It's so
So
fun.
fun.
These questions are great. You'll see some some things we may have already touched on already. But
Okay.
this is from Barker. I'm 59 and a very short hitter. My 7-iron is 135 as an example. I tend to come over the top and face a bad slice with the driver also.
Okay. So this is the same thing again. Barker. So here's what I wanted you to do, Barker. I want you to rewatch this segment of this show after it's over, and I want you to understand that grip position that I told you about is essential. Now I'm going to add one little thing here so that everybody gets this, and for you, Barker, especially. So here's the deal. When we get into this setup position, I want the trail hand, the lead hand to have the palm pointing down. So the lead hand, the palm points more down, not all the way down, but more down. I don't want it back to camera one, and I certainly don't want it up into the air. I want it to be more down. And then I want in the down the line view there, Gibbers, I want to come in underneath here. Okay. So that's how we get our hands on this club in a position where we're going to be able to hang on to some angle here and strike the ball solidly. And then what I want you to do, and this is with every club across, doesn't matter what it is. You say, do I do this? Yes. Do I do it? Yes. Don't even ask. Yes. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to move the ball position back. So let's go face on. Right. So we move the ball position back. And now what we get is we get a shaft that's leaning. And when we strike the ball, I want a shaft that's leaning. Okay. So those are two things that we're doing before we put this in motion. We're altering that grip. We're altering the ball position. And then we're going to go back to my old reliable, the trail elbow. I love this swing thought. Straighten it out over here. Don't straighten it out over here. Straighten it out over here. 7-iron's going 135. Straighten it out over here. 7-iron's going 165. I'd like 30 more yards. Yes, you can. Your trail elbow. Straighten that out over there. So here we go. I'm going to hit this one even faster and farther than that other one because ball position is back. I'm warmed up now. This one's going to turn. Well, maybe not. It's going to go 199 yards. And that's what I got out of my 6-iron. My 6-iron I'm normally playing, as I said, like around 180. So now I'm getting a little bit farther. Well, when it comes to the driver, now all of a sudden we'll take that draw, we'll take that distance that we get on the ball on the ground, move the ball back with every single club, get those hands on the club the correct way. Make sure that when you come through, that arm is pushing out towards the target, and you'll solve that problem. Okay, Barker? Okay.
This is from Samuel. Hi, Mike and gang. I struggle coming out of the shot and standing up at impact. I also come over the top, but I do all right for an old D3 baseball player.
D3, baby.
Yep.
You know what? I know I was a D3 baseball player. Randolph-Macon College, by the way, just so everybody knows, D3, the number one Division III basketball team in the nation. They've got a big game coming up tonight. They're playing UMass Dartmouth at, I think it's at 7:00 tonight. So they're in the Sweet 16 of the Division III March Madness, if you will, and big game. So you're looking at a former D3 shortstop. So I kind of understand. So we're over the top. We are losing some power, right? So how do we solve over the top? Okay, so a couple things. One, let's go back down that line again if we could. What you're going to do is you're going to take, I'm using this just because it's here. It's a wonderful thing to have. I can't tell you how effective a half foam roller can be for you. So what you're going to do is you're going to put this out like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just take this thing. We're going to just twist this just a little bit. So if 12 is here, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock here, we're going to go just like maybe, 12:15, 12:20. Okay. Now what we do is we put a golf ball in here. And what I want to do is I don't want to aim along that line. So let me move this. Forgive me.
God bless you.
Thank you. I got a little cold going on here. Doubles. I can clean my club and I can clean my face. It's perfect. So what I have here is I have my toe line, my knee line, my hip line, and my shoulder lines all here. And then this is just a little to the right of that. Okay. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. Now, what we're going to do from here is we're going to make sure that when we come through here, we do not hit this. Okay. So we just do a little chip and you can see the ball start out to the push side. So that's a really, really good way of teaching yourself how to not come over the top. Now I go back to that other thing when there's this early extension and they're throwing it. That's all in this right elbow. So just understand this for a second. Let's go down the line again. If I at address, if my hand, my trail hand right here is, I'm just going to make up a number. Let's say it's 2 feet off the ground. So when I come back to strike this ball, my hand needs to be 2 feet or less off the ground. If I have forward shaft lean, because my hand is on this club, the handle is now down here. This hand has to get lower. Okay. The only way that I'm going to prevent from standing up is to keep this elbow bent, because when that elbow is bent, the distance between my hand and my shoulder has to decrease in order for my hand to get to 2 feet. You understand? So when I come in here, if I have my arms straight, I have more room to get into. If I have my arm bent, now I have to get down to that in order for me to get my hand back to where I want. So what we do is we keep the elbow bent, we go to hit the ball, and all of a sudden my body stays in the shot and I don't early extend. The trail arm is so amazingly important in the golf swing. It is universally the most important in swing. I'm not going to call it a fundamental, but it's the most important in swing part of a golf swing that there is. I know, regardless of any, it'll actually help you rotate more. It'll help you side bend more. It'll help you hit the ball farther. It will help in everything. Okay. So just do those two things. Get yourself like a little foam roller, or you could even use like one of these swim noodles that I have over here. Put that down there and then keep that elbow bent and you'll be fine. Okay. All right. We got time for a couple more. Yeah, we got time for a couple more.
This is a quick one from our good friend Corey from the Great North. Hey, what are the measurements of your breed board and the PVC pipe? Thanks for the live show. Figure some people will want to make some of these as well.
So the PVC, he's talking about this thing here.
The breed bar and the board.
So the board is a 4 foot by 4 foot piece of plywood. And then you get a 6 by 6 piece of turf. And then you fold the turf over. That's a great shot. So you fold the turf over on one side and you screw it in. You fold it over on the opposite side and you screw that in. Just back it out, Gibbsy. Just back it. Yeah, there you go. So you screw in this side. So we'll screw in the east side. We screw in the west side. And then you do the north and the south, like you're wrapping a Christmas present. Okay. You make sure that you get this first, then get the other two sides. And that's how and by the way, just so you know, it's a 2-man job. It's not a 1-man job. Greg and I did. I take credit because that's how it works. I take credit, but it's a 2-man job, just simply. Now, this thing here, I can tell you the only thing that's important is the height of this. The reason why I have it as wide as I have it, and what you can see here is that these arms that come down here, the legs of the arms, these can twist so that if I've got somebody that is particularly tall and they're hitting a driver, well, now I could just open this up for them and allow for their feet and the width of their stance to fit in there without, it's hard to see that one, Gibbsy. Yeah, there you go. So right there. So you can see how their feet can fit in there. If you turn this thing in, sometimes it can get to be a little bit of a problem. So what I just did 3 feet just because I knew I could take the arms and twist them out. So this is 3 feet. And then the height of this thing depends on you individually. So if you're getting one for yourself, all you do, as I said before, go to that shot down the line, is you measure from your pocket down to the floor there. For me, it's about 3 feet. And then what you're going to do is you're going to just make sure that you got to do, this takes some math. You have to have some math skills here. So math skills are, okay, this pipe right here is 1.5 inches. And then that 1.5 inches, you have to figure that into the bar that's going down. And so you have to do some math. There's some algebra in this. There might even be some trigonometry that's a part of this. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. But when it's all said and done, what you want is you want that thing to be the right height, which is about 3 feet for me. Everybody's different. Okay.
I think this may be a good one to end on. Any good drill to encourage a good finish on irons, approaches, a bad habit. I have a bad habit of not finishing. Thank you.
Okay. So one of the reasons why people don't finish their golf swing, they get stuck when they come down into the strike, is because they've run out of energy. So what happens is that if I take the club and I cast the club down here, what I'm doing is, in effect, I'm throwing energy down to the ground. And as a result of the club head running into the ground is a source of, it steals energy. So I'm getting rid of energy. And then I have another thing, the ground, which is stealing more energy. And so I have a minus energy and a minus energy, which adds up to a 0 energy and a no follow through. So I go back to that trail elbow again, the importance of that trail elbow to help you get through a shot. But I was playing golf one day with Raymond Floyd, and I asked Raymond Floyd one of his favorite swing thoughts. Now this is over 30 years ago. And he said, I like to think about parking the car in the garage. Of course, I sat there like you're sitting there right now going, what? And I can tell you through knowing Raymond, he's a very, very creative and imaginative mind. And so he visualized a lot of stuff. When he won the U.S. Open in '86, he visualized train tracks on those greens at Shinnecock. And he, on the final day, said that it was so, he could see it so clearly that he could smell the oil from the train, which is unbelievable. And if you go back and you look at the statistics, he basically made everything he looked at. So he's a very visual guy. And what he did was, what he said to me was, look, I imagine that there's a garage right here. The opening to the garage is on this side. So the garage is like this. This is the garage door. It goes up and goes like that. And the car goes into the garage this way. So that's what he imagines. He imagines a garage here. The car is the grip. And this is the front of the car. The front windshield is here. The trunk is back here. And so what he wanted to do was he wanted to take the car and park it in the garage like that. That's all he thought about. So he gets into here. He visualizes the garage right here. He swings through and he parks the car in the garage. The ball gets in the way. It just gets in the way. It's amazing how a simple thought can create a radically different result. And if we start thinking about parking the car in the garage, your swing is going to look a lot better. Your balance is going to be a whole lot better. And then all those little flaws that you have of standing up a little early or releasing the club a little bit too soon or whatever, those are all going to they're not going to disappear, but they're not going to be as bad as they were. and you'll get through the shot. So what I would recommend, and if it's good enough for Raymond Floyd, it's certainly good enough for me. It's certainly good enough for you. Park the car in the garage. And I'm telling you, if you do that, you'll get through the shot. Okay. All right. We've been going at it for about an hour and 20 minutes. So we got to stop. I got to, again, remind you of a couple things. Okay. You want to get a putting mat for your house. If you want to get a putting mat for your house, the best putting surface out there is Big Moss Greens. And I can tell you, I researched this forever. I'm not selling you a product. I don't want you to think that. I'm not selling you something. I am encouraging you to, if you want to putt better and you want an indoor putting surface, the only place to go is Big Moss Greens. And they're the ones, Titleist uses them. I mean, I go through a list of people that are using Big Moss. They're the best. So go over to bigmoss.com, and for being on this show today, we're going to give you a 15% discount. All you have to do is go over on any of their putting greens. Go over there, use the discount code BREED15, and you'll get 15% off. Also, too, we remind you about the logo chips that we have. Greg, let's see your throw again. We've got these logo poker chips. They've all been blessed. That's a good throw. We have them in green and we have them in blue. They've got a new breed of golf on them here. There you go. Let me just sneak in here, so I'll save you that right there. Which one are you on? Are you on 7? Are you on 10? Where are you, Gibbsy? Okay, sorry. All right, so we're right there. There you go. There, you can see that. And then on the other side, proud to be an American. That's my the American flag right there, okay? And those are $6. Again, we have them in green and in blue. Gibbsy, why don't you go to a Greg shot here so that we can see Greg catch that nice catch.
I'm a natural.
Also, too, by the way, we've got our logo tournament going on, so make sure you go over to Twitter. Stanwich is up there. They've got a good matchup going up against Old Chatham. 2 Greenwich guys, Mike Suma and John Marino. They're the head golf professionals, the director of golf over at those 2 clubs. Great guys, good friends of mine. Great logos, great clubs. Those are up there. So jump over to Twitter and you can vote on that. I want to give you one last look at the people behind the scenes. Greg Ducharme, you've seen his smiling, charming personality going on. And of course, Steve Gibbs. So for all of us here on A New Breed of Golf, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Remember, when you go out there to play, get comfortable with your adjustments. Understand uneven lies. Think about it. We are going to be here again on Friday. And what I would ask you to do for me, if you would, is let me know if this 11 a.m. time works for you better than the 12 on the East Coast, if this time works better or not. If you have another suggestion, please get those to us. We're trying to figure out the recipe for being able to help you play your best golf. And it's not just the information that we're presenting in here, but it's also when we get to do it. So I thank you so much for allowing us to do this and supporting us in all the things that we're doing. I'm Michael Breed. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.